Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Big Guy Little Guy podcast, and welcome back to Sports Hour. And as you can see, can't see Anthony, but yeah, our scheduling has been really bad lately. It's still going on bad, and it's really hard to get motivated recently. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a change from summer to fall getting ready to happen. I'm not sure. But motivation has been really hard to come by, and it's hard when you put so much time into recording and stuff, and you only get like 10, 20 views. Don't get me wrong, that's awesome because we're not doing this for fame, you know. We're not doing this for the money. We're doing it to entertain. We're doing it to put our what's in our heads out there, and this is the best way we know how to. Unless we want to start a blog or something, go back to the 90s and early 2000s. But, man, it's hard to get motivated recently. It really is. But without further ado and not enough sobbing, let's get into college football. Woohoo! Week 1 of college football happened. And if you did not watch it, I feel bad for you because, man, there was some good games on. And I think defense is back. Because, I mean, if you've watched football the past, like 6, 7 years, offenses ran the league of NFL and college. It's crazy. Like, I knew it was coming just because, like, you saw it in Peyton Manning. But now that it's like 2021, you see offenses explode. I mean, it's not odd to see a game go 40-40 in the NFL. And in college, it's not odd to see it go like 50-50. But, defense was pretty crazy. Okay, we're going to get into college football. And we're going to get into my favorite team first, which is LSU. Not much to say about it. it was a very pathetic performance by LSU in this game against UCLA. They come out flat. I mean, they didn't score until the second quarter, like about 12 minutes in, and UCLA, once they scored, they didn't stop. The final score ended up being 38-27, and it was crazy. It was. LSU's defense has been really bad recently within the past like 5 years. Go back to, I want to say 2011 and 12. Our defense was spectacular. We had like Tyrann Mathieu. Now we just, oh man. It's bad because even with Burrow back in 2019, I believe, 2019. League at 2019 when they went undefeated and had probably the greatest offensive season in history. I don't know. It's just every game you saw bad defense. Like when you took on unranked, maybe like Ole Miss or Mississippi State or something, you know, they're tough schools, but they're not going to give you 50 points. And all Burrow had to do was outscore his opponent, which I know that's part of that's the game, is to outscore your opponent. But there's got to be some leeway on your defense kind of helping your offense. And the game against Bama, I mean, it was all Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Joe Burrow. I mean, there was at one point, there was like 3 minutes left, and Tua Tagovailoa, I think that's how you say his name, Tagovailoa, something like that. Threw like an 80-yard touchdown to was it Jared Jeudy? Anyway, like that with 3 minutes left, up by 2 scores, you play prevent defense, man. You keep your safeties far back, and they got to do something different with their defense. And their offense was horrible as well. They got going late, but it was just too late after that. Every time they scored, I feel like UCLA was scoring twice. So It was. Is LSU season over? I got to believe so. I mean, I don't think you're coming back from this. You were already at rank 16, so you really weren't in that playoff hunt to start the season. And now that you lost to an unranked UCLA, I don't, I don't see a good season for LSU. Maybe like a 7-5 season. Maybe make it to some kind of crappy bowl game, like a mayonnaise bowl. No, but we're gonna move on from LSU. I think LSU's over with. They don't have the recruit status anymore like Bama does. I mean, they still get recruits. Don't get me wrong, but Bama's getting like number one on every position. You know, it's tough. And I am going to talk about Bama last because they're my most hated team. But I'll get into them later. Okay, we're going on to our second game, or not our second game, but the second game we're talking about. Number 19, Penn State defeats number 12, Wisconsin, and boy, Wisconsin had two. They had stupid phone. They had two shots to win this game, and they just could not pull it out for some reason. Their quarterback fumbled a few times, giving it to the halfback, and one time he just fumbled it. It's tough, man. It's tough. But the final score in that game was 16-10, and that's one of the next few games we're talking about is a lot of defense. And Penn State's offense did not look great, but their defense looked fantastic against Wisconsin running attack. I mean, that's what Wisconsin's really known for, you know, is they always have a top 20 running back, like a top 20 pick running back, you know, and they just got shut down. They folded and collapsed, and that the quarterback did not play well in the last like 5 or 6 minutes of the game. He did not perform to someone of that big school should have, you know, like a quarterback from that big of a school should perform a lot better. But it is what it is. Penn State escapes with the win. There was one point. I mean, they had the ball down there inside the 5, and he fumbled. Wisconsin did. It's a lot of sloppy play in this first week from a lot of teams. Maybe that's why the defense was so good, you know. But moving on to number 10, North Carolina getting upset by Virginia Tech, 17-10. Man, I know North Carolina was on the rise last year. I mean, from what we saw, I mean, with COVID and stuff, but it's I expected a lot more out of them, you know. But it is what it is. They lost 17-10 to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's usually has a decent defense. I mean, I feel like that's where a lot of your cornerbacks come out of. Like D Hall come from there. I believe Fred Smoot, which, I mean, he wasn't great, but I liked him a lot. But going on to number 7, Iowa State. Whoa, what did I say? That was weird. Iowa State squeaks by Northern Iowa, 16-10. But excuse me, you got to think those games are kind of like a home state rivalry type deal. Anytime you take on someone in your state, it's a jock for position on who's the better football team in that state. And Iowa State squeaks by 16-10. Another great defensive game. I did not get to watch any of this one. I didn't think it would be a game, so I didn't really pay attention to it. But yeah, and number 21 Texas shows out against number 23 Louisiana Lafayette, 38-18. Was Louisiana Lafayette were they worthy of the 23? Got to think after this first week, no. Maybe they bit off a little more than they could chew schedule in Texas. Maybe should have went a little lower, a lower team, because I mean you would like to keep that top 25 position or top 25 poll ranking for a few weeks, but lost it. I'm assuming they did. Rankings are really tricky sometimes. Number 2, Oklahoma escapes Tulane. I don't know how to say that name. Tulane. 40-35. Man, it's crazy. I looked at the game and it was like 31-14 at one point, and I was like okay, man. Tulane come back, man. It was a good game. It was a good game. 18 Iowa crushes number 17 Indiana 34-6. That was shocking. I had high hopes for Indiana, maybe because that's where a lot of my family's from. Can't stop burping. Burpity burp. But yeah, I had high hopes for Indiana. It's probably a little biasy on my part because, like I said, part of my family's from there, so they get squished. Let's go on to probably the best game on Saturday, I would say, was Georgia, number 5 Georgia versus number 3 Clemson. And boy, what a defensive game from very good teams. Georgia ended up pulling it out. Oh, Anthony would be laughing right now. Georgia pulls it off with a 10-3 victory. This is college football. Defense really shined in this game from both teams, really. Georgia's quarterback kind of started getting it rolling in the second half, but still, I mean, not enough. I mean, 10-3. I mean, they still won, but against Bama or something, they're going to have to do a lot better offensively. Clemson, I mean, this is their first game without Trevor Lawrence, so their head coach has a tough time within the next few. I didn't see anything special out of their offense at all. Their quarterback seemed just rattled the whole time from what I've seen or what I watched of him. And it was just, he didn't look comfortable. The offense didn't look settled. The offense didn't look comfortable at all. We'll see if Todd can get his, I think his first name's Todd. Man, I think it's either Swin or Sweeney. I think it's Sweeney. But he's got a tough road ahead of him. He's got to get this offense settled down, comfortable in rhythm, because they were, and give 100% props to Georgia's defense, because they come out balling, man. Their defensive line was absolutely fantastic, and so was Clemson's defensive line. They were, I'd hate to go up against them, man. They were really good, both lines. Okay, moving on. Number 20 Washington got upset by Montana, unranked Montana. Yeah, the score was 13-7. Not even 20 points through a whole game. That's crazy to see in college football, because the past like 4 or 5 seasons, I mean, all you see, I mean, watch Burrow. He threw, I thought one of my walls come down. He didn't. But Burrow was like averaging like 40 points a game and stuff, But I mean, I'm not saying that Washington has that type of talent on their team, not even close. But that's just kind of what college football is. You tune in to see big plays and plays you don't see in the NFL because of lapse coverages and blown tackles. But not this weekend, man. It was crazy. So, going on to probably the best game of the weekend, or the first week of NCAA football. And it was tonight. It was actually about a couple hours ago. Number 9 Notre Dame beats Florida State 41-38 in overtime. And this game looked like out of reach in the third quarter. It was 38-20. And my uncle had actually texted me and was like, "Are you watching the game?" And I forgot there was a game on tonight. And oh shoot! So I turned it on. It was 31-20. Um, Florida State threw a pick in their own 30 on fourth down, and turned it around. It was a very incredible performance, and one of the performances that were highlighted for me was McKenzie Milton. If you know the story on him, it's fantastic. He had multiple surgeries done on his knee for the past 2 years. Said he would never play football again. The doctor said he'd never seen anybody recover the way that Milton did. So to see him come in, and he played absolutely fantastic. He was a little jittery, obviously. I mean, 2 years of one injury to a knee. I mean that's I can't imagine, because I come back from 1 year off of an injury to my knee, and it was horrifying. It killed my confidence. This kid come in there and he was throwing it. He was very fast too. I recommend go watching his highlights. I hate that he lost, but I'm kind of a Notre Dame fan. Like, I like him. Florida State I don't like. But Milton, I'm going to keep my eye on him. I hope he has a great season. Gets a draft pick, maybe late third, fourth round. Oh man, he played fantastic. And his poor mom in the stands, man. Every time, because he was getting pressured quite a bit, and he was running quite a bit. Every time it showed her, she was crying or very red and nervous, and as would I be. It was a heroic performance by McKenzie Milton, and my hat goes off to him. Wow, my hat's off. But yeah, he played great. Florida State's kicker, Fitzgerald, missed an overtime field goal, which at the point would have put him up by 3, and then they would have been tied by Notre Dame's kicker. But we could have went to a second overtime and could have gave Milton another shot. But credit to both defenses in the overtime, because they locked down. There was a bad call in overtime. I feel if you watched it, McKenzie kind of went back to throw, and he went to throw it, but tried to tuck it and dropped it, and they called it an incomplete pass, which, if you know the tuck rule, I mean, if you go back to pass and you let it go, or you're going to pass it, you try to tuck it and you drop it from the, like, just trying to pass it. I mean, it should be a fumble, but I don't know why they didn't call it that. But the ball doesn't lie, so kicker missed it. That's what I always say. Ball doesn't lie. Now here we go. My most dreaded topic. Alabama. Number 1 Alabama stomps number 14 Miami. I was rooting for Miami. You know me, I'm a big Sean Taylor fan, and that's where he played, the University of Miami. He got crushed 44-13. It was a dreadful performance by Miami. But huge performance for Alabama's starting quarterback, Bryce Young. 4 touchdowns, the first Bama quarterback to have 4 touchdowns in his first start. Congratulations to him. He had a killer day, and I'm not sure what year he's in. I would say probably a sophomore, but if he's a junior, yeah, he'll be going on right to the NBA or NFL. Oh, NBA, he might. I don't know if he plays. But yeah. And one topic I want to get into with Alabama. I've always criticized Alabama, as has everybody else, that Bama, outside of the SEC, their conference, they don't play anybody. They always pick these low ranked teams and go 45-0 on them, you know? Which, don't get me wrong, I know you need one team to do that with, to get your morale, your confidence, and your culture up. I know that, but Bama, I felt like, did it all 4 times. They had or all 5 four or five times they had a non-conference game, they were picking these easy beat-up teams. And when they got into the playoffs and they would lose they lost to LSU. But, I mean, when you got like 3 championships in the past 5 years or 6 years, whatever. Obviously, you're doing something right, Nick Saban. But does that put that to rest? I'm not sure if it was really ever a true argument. I used it a lot because, well, I hate Bama. Going to use any argument I can against Bama. But, yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Saban, I thought there was rumor, not last year, but the year before that last year was his last season. But he ended up signing a big contract. So, Nick Saban's not done. Alabama's not done. So, I don't know. I would like to see Notre Dame take it, but after their performance tonight, I don't see it unless their defense improves tremendously. But my next bet would be Georgia, or my next favorite would be Georgia. To have a coach that was under Nick Saban at Alabama, go up and win it, that'd be so cool. All right, let's head into the NFL news. Zach Martin, right guard for the Dallas Cowboys, is not playing week 1. So how big of an impact is he not going to make, I guess? I mean, when you think of offensive line, you think maybe, or why does one offensive lineman being out make that big of a difference? It usually doesn't, because I mean, you can build packages around that. You can have it's a lot easier if your right tackle's out instead of your right guard, because you can do chips with your running back out of the backfield and chips with tight ends and stuff. But with a guard and your main play caller, because on your quarterback can adjust the play however he wants, but your linemen have to know how to adjust. Ooh, I just spit everywhere. Your offensive line has to know how to adjust for blitzes, because, I mean, your quarterback may point it out like, hey, there's a blitz here. Then the offensive line, who's like the leader of the offensive line, will kind of like do the blitz pickups themselves. But I would assume that Zach Martin, being a veteran and being probably the best offensive lineman in the league, is making those plays. So him being out, I think, might be a rough day for Dak, coming off of a bad leg break. I don't know if I'd play him without Zach Martin, to be honest. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's a do or die league, Hopefully their next man up can perform decent enough to keep the pressure off. Maybe Zeke can run the ball a little bit more and actually run good. But if it becomes a problem, Mike McCarthy's going to have to adjust and throw the ball quicker, run the ball more. So I expect to see a lot of running from them to the left side, at least. And I expect the Bucks to, I think they're playing the Bucks first. Let me see just real quick. But whoever they're playing, which I do believe is the Bucks, I assume that they're going to, I would assume they're going to bring some blitzes. Yeah, they're playing the Bucks. So knowing the Bucks, if you watched them in the Super Bowl and stuff, they blitz a lot. So I would assume some sacks. I would put some money on them getting, I would say, at least 3 sacks this game, maybe 4. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm excited for this league, I'm surprised he's out with COVID, because the vaccine. I mean, I'm sure he got it. What's going on there? And just saying. And Lane Kiffin was out. For college. He's a college coach. He was vaccinated. He got He got COVID. Oh, that's right. It's all on the unvaccinated. I forgot. Oh, stupid me. Wake up. All right. Now, oh gosh, I am sorry for that. Going Matthew Stafford. I read an article today that he is early favorites for the MVP slot. To me, it makes sense. He was on a horrible Lions team, and when he did have a good player in Calvin Johnson, Megatron, he he drove Megatron out of the league because he threw to him at least 10 times a game, I would say, easily, and they never got Megatron the help he needed on the other side of the field to play the other receiver position. So it is what it is, you know. I say that a lot. That's going to go on a t-shirt, I guarantee it. I wouldn't mind seeing Matthew Stafford break out and win an MVP. I've always liked him, even when he was with Detroit. You know, he was always a good 3,000-yard passer, which now he's like a 4,500-yard passer just because the league has changed so much. But yeah, I expect him to do a lot better than he did with Detroit. I expect him to make smarter throws because in Detroit, like I said, he would just throw it up to Calvin Johnson. And if you've seen highlights of Calvin, I mean, that Cowboys game, he was covered by like 4 or 5 people, and Matthew Stafford's like, you got it, bro. I mean, I don't know, it's crazy, but when that's all you got to throw to and you have no running game, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Let's move on to other news, as in Cam Newton getting released. A little old, but I don't care. I'm still going to go over it. So here we go. I've talked to a few people, and they're like, why did Cam get released? And I think Bill Belichick's patience has run out on him. If you know Cam Newton, you know his story with Carolina when he got drafted. He couldn't learn the playbook. At Auburn, they dumbed down the playbook to where it was very easy for him to understand, and they gave him a coach wristband. Jeez Louise, get it out. Okay, but yeah. So, and reports have come out that Rob Ninkovich was helping him, still trying to help him learn some of the playbook, and he still wasn't getting it. So, or no, Mac Jones was helping him learn the playbook, and that was from Rob Ninkovich. But, I mean, you need help, you know. Can't fault him on it because when he was in his prime, he was good, but he was always hampered by not knowing the whole playbook and plays. And I think that's why Carolina kind of went downhill after the Super Bowl, because when you only have a certain amount of plays, it's going to be easy to predict. Not by me. I'm not saying by me, but like Bill Belichick, who's arguably the greatest defensive coach of all time. I mean, come on. He picked apart Cam sometimes, and then Cam picked them apart when he in his early running days. That's the reason. It's not a race thing. Please don't bring that into that, because it's not. Cam, I was surprised that anybody picked Cam up after he got released from the Panthers, because he hasn't done well, and he I don't think he did great last season, to be honest. But I mean, when you can't learn the playbook, especially with Bill Belichick, who is the Patriot way, is what everybody says, you know. That's hard, man. It's hard to get past that. And I think Bill Belichick's patience just ran out. It really did. And he got Matt Jones from Alabama, so I think he's set on that, which he was set on Jarrett Stidham too, and we all know how that turned out if you know who he is. But he wanted to get rid of Tom Brady, so this is your punishment, Mr. Belichick. We're moving on to the NBA, some NBA news. LaMarcus Aldridge has come out of retirement. You know the story. He retired. He got bought out by the Spurs, signed with the Nets last season. Ended up retiring like a day after, learning that he had like irregular heart patterns or something. I can't quite remember. And I definitely don't know the scientific name or medical name. But he retired, so now he's back and he's on the Nets. So yeah. That's what you just getting more powerful and powerful, and I hate it. And speaking of getting more powerful, DeAndre Jordan, who played for the Nets, has traded to the Lakers. So, I mean, it's to me, it's as long as injuries don't play a big factor. I there's no way the Lakers and Nets are not headlining the finals this season. But unless AD cannot stay healthy and LeBron misses a month or so. Even with that, they still got Russ and Melo. So, DeAndre Jordan now. We're back to the 2017-2018 freaking Warriors. I hate it. Actually, the Warriors for 4 years I didn't like because they were just so overpowered and stuff, you know. But at least we just got 2 overpowered teams. It'll be good finals. It's not going to be a good regular season to watch, but I might not watch any this season, honestly. I didn't watch much with the Warriors because it was pretty obvious who was going to be in the finals. LeBron versus Curry, then LeBron versus KD. It was pretty simplistic. And yet these guys are stacking their teams, and yet Kobe could not get Chris Paul to play with him. So stupid. But that was a long time ago. Who do I expect to bounce back in the NBA this season? Some very good top candidates. Obvious ones, I'll go ahead and throw out there. Klay Thompson. I mean, if you know the story, he's been out for 2 years, nursing major injuries. Can he have a bounce back season? I hope so, but I don't think his defensive prowess, his defensive ability is going to be there anymore. I want it to, but I don't. I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong, but the way medical technology and stuff has come a long way, it's a lot easier nowadays to come back from those types of injuries. So, I'm sure he's in good hands, you know. And like I said, Anthony Davis, nursing injuries. He's been injury prone really since he's been in the league. Every season he's always nursing an injury. So hopefully he can come back and have a really good season. That's why I believe the Lakers championship should not be taken to the full max on the bubble year, because I had a few months off, which gave Anthony Davis and LeBron time to recover. You know, LeBron's in his mid-30s, late 30s. 2 or 3 months off goes a long way in the NBA. Any sport, really, but especially in the NBA. Those are obvious candidates for me, but we're going to go to some people who played kind of bad last season. So we're going to start off with Ben Simmons. If you know, you know. I mean, free throws. That's all you got to say. He made like 14 of 83 free throws or something like that. It may not have been that bad, but it was horrible. I think if he gets out of Philly, he's going to have a spectacular season somewhere. And reports have come out saying that the Warriors want him, but the Niners, Sixers want Klay Thompson or Steph Curry, and I hope they don't trade either of them, but you got to think this might be a good trade now. You get rid of Klay, and who can be big defensive component for you and your main facilitator on offense, and it would give Curry I wouldn't say breaks because he'd still be running around the freaking court like a madman, but it would give him less responsibility to just focus on threes. And it could bump up Curry to like 35 points a game. without him having to worry about passing the ball here, passing the ball there. Which, I mean, he had Draymond, but I would say Ben Simmons is a much better Draymond. Not leadership wise. They still need to keep Draymond for sure. But bring Simmons in to play small forward. Not bad. Maybe Wiggins at the 2. Wiseman 5. Curry 1. Whew, that's a nasty little squad. Or you could put Simmons at the point, Bad either. But do I think he'll have a bounce back season? I think if he goes to the right team. If he goes to someone like the Hornets, which the Hornets aren't bad. They got LaMelo Ball, so. But you put him on a team with like the Pistons or something, he's not going to have that. He might average 20 points, but he's not going to get his like 8 and 8. So I want to see him with the Warriors. I really do. I think that would turn them into I'm not going to say championship team because I think the Lakers and the Nets are in a championship no matter what. But it would turn them into a competing team in the playoffs. Maybe I said AFC Championship. I've been watching a lot of football recently, y'all. But Western Conference Finals, easily I would think. Okay. Another one that just played bad last season is Pascal Siakam. Siakam, whatever. I don't see much out of him this season. I don't think he'll have a bounce back year. I think when he was with Kawhi and the year after, he had great seasons. But you look at his seasons, it was a bubble year. So take it with a grain of salt. I don't think he's going to have a bounce back season by any means, but I think he'll slowly start going downhill until he's no longer relevant. And without Kyle Lowry there to help him, he's going to have a tough time. I could be wrong. I could most definitely be wrong about everybody on this list, but I just don't see Pascal Siakam. I don't see him performing up to standard. Kemba Walker. If you know the story, I mean, had phenomenal seasons at the Hornets. Went to Boston and pretty much shrank. He really became like the third scoring option behind Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, which is understandable. They were there longer, not in the NBA, but at Boston. But oh man, it's tough. I mean, you look at Kyrie. Kyrie couldn't even produce well in Boston. So maybe it's Brad Stevens. No, it's not Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens. It is Brad Stevens. Oh man. Okay. Well, whatever. It could be him. I don't know. The Celtics coach. But Kemba going to New York with Julius Randle. Whew. And Julius Randle last season proved that he was a passer. So Kemba could pull like a Steph Curry. Run around the block a lot, Because Kemba's a deadly shooter, I'm excited to see him and Julius play together. I think it's a recipe for success other than disaster. Yeah. I mean, if you look what Julius Randle did last season for the Knicks, I mean, he took them to the playoffs single-handedly. Well, I'm not going to say single-handedly because D Rose, but dang, you get you could even bring in Kemba to play the 2 and Rose to play the 1, which I think they want Rose coming off the bench because he was up for 6th man of the year. I think that would probably be the best option just so he wouldn't aggravate any old injuries. I hope if D Rose can put up the performance he did this year and Kemba can go back to Charlotte Hornets days, I think And Julius Randle, if you know the story in the playoffs, he played absolutely horrible. But if he can continue his regular season success into next season, and then Kemba go back to his old form with D Rose coming off the bench, averaging 16 to 18, that's a deadly squad right there, man. That's if all that happens, like I just said, I predict the Knicks to be number 3 seed behind the Nets and the Bucks. But you can't forget about Atlanta either with Trae Young and John Collins. So I don't know. And you gotta look out for those injuries too. All right. So staying on the NBA, I want to see how much I've been recording right here. Okay, we're at 40. I'm still calling it Sports Hour because I might be able to get through an hour. But moving on to top 5 centers. And yes, not centers as in baseball or as in SINNER. Wait, no sinners here? No, everybody's sinners. But so Jesus was crucified for us. But okay. At number 5, I'm gonna go DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, what he played in the playoffs, except for the last couple games in the finals, DeAndre Ayton played phenomenal ball. I mean, he was going like 18 to 20 points a game with like 10 to 12 rebounds. And he played fantastic and great defense too. So my number 5 is DeAndre Ayton. I hope he can come back as a force like he did in the playoffs. I think that would be fantastic. But Chris Paul's staying around. Booker's still there, so they pretty much got the same squad. I don't predict them to do as good this season. I think Chris Paul will take a little step back from being as good as he was this season. I think he'll take a step down from his age, but hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he pulls a LeBron, and just keeps going until he absolutely can't. I expect him to take fewer minutes this season with Cameron Payne showing up in the playoffs like he did. I think that would be very enjoyable to see him and Payne actually split minutes. Keep Paul fresh for the playoffs. Why they wouldn't do that. But DeAndre Ayton, my number 5, my number 4, Bam Adebayo. I think I'm saying his name right. I don't know. There's so many weird names. But I'm going Bam Adebayo from the Heat. I think he did better than Ayton. I mean, he's a better passer than Ayton. I think he's a little better defender than Ayton. But I'm going Bam. I didn't watch him too much this season. I'm pretty much just going on favoritism right now. But Bam, I mean, you gotta look at his playoff performance. He didn't do great. I mean, probably should have put Bam at 5 and then DeAndre. But I looked at those last 2 games of the finals of DeAndre Ayton, and they were pathetic. Oh, okay. I'm just moving on to number 3. Someone I did not watch any this season, but I know all the talk about him. Karl Anthony Towns. Can't deny his athleticism. Cannot deny his ability, God-given ability. Been through a lot with coronavirus, COVID. Family members, a lot actually. Still, I mean, it's been a year. That pain never goes away. But he's my number 3, and not for sympathy points because he put up a great season, and I would like to see him take a step up, maybe like 28 points next season with about 12 rebounds. I think that would be fantastic. The Wolves definitely need that. I would like to see him get out of the Wolves as soon as possible. Maybe go to, I could not imagine if he went to like the Warriors. That would turn them into a championship team right there. But I don't think they'll ever get rid of Towns willingly. I think he'll have to force their hand a little bit. Okay, sorry about that. You'll see a cut right there. My whole bottom row fell down. It's probably been down the whole video. I don't know. But going to number 2 is Joel Embiid, who, in my opinion, should have, or I'm not gonna say should, if he had a couple more games under his belt, like five or six more games, I think he should have been MVP this season. But I think he should have been MVP. But I mean, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Get used to that. It's gonna be my catchphrase. It is what it is. But I like Joel Embiid. I'm not a big fan, but I like his play when he's not shooting threes. He's your old timey big man, you know. He gets down in the block. He plays dirty. Not dirty, but like plays rough and stuff. Rough and stuff. But can't deny his ability. I mean, he can shoot the three. Not consistently, but I mean he can shoot. He's not as good of a 3-point shooter as Jokic, but Jokic is that European guy, you know. That's all they focus on over there is offense. And speaking of Jokic, he's my number 1 center of the 2021 season. 2020 season. Gosh. We gotta get off the 2020s, guys. But yeah. Jokic is my number 1, obviously, because he's the MVP. I love Jokic. I like him better than anybody on this list. Maybe there's a little favoritism there, but Jokic, MVP, had a fantastic season, played almost all the games. He was really a Iron Man this season. With all the stars going down, even his co-star Jamal Murray went down. Seeing Jokic stand tall was awesome, even though he got swept by the Suns in the playoffs. They were just outmatched and outgunned, and that without Jamal Murray, it was tough for Jokic. Jokic played great, but yeah, his team did not without Jamal Murray. He needed that second score, and Michael Porter did not show up. And what happens? Yep, that's my top 5. Oh, this is so hard without Anthony. So hard. Okay. Oh, let me check some time real quick. Okay, we're running on 51 minutes. Not quite an hour. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it through, you are a freaking champion. I've done that so much this video. I don't know why. I've never done that before. But all that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this sports hour. Fantastic. It was kind of hard without Anthony, as usual. You know, get used to a co-host, and it's hard to host. But I was very happy to talk about some college football. Very happy to talk about NFL. Next weekend, gonna be big. First NBA kickoff. Actually, Thursday, and then Sunday is the first Sunday of NFL football. I cannot wait. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Get my NBA. Ooh, what's it called? Access? Is that no? That's not what it's called. Sunday ticket. There we go. NFL Sunday ticket going. Ooh. It's already going, but you know, I'm excited for the first season. See how my Washington Redskins do. I'm going to call them that to the end of time. Get over it. See how the Bucks do with Tom Brady. See if Tom Brady slowed down any. I hope not, but you never know. But that being said, maybe Anthony can bring out which he didn't do his top power forwards yet, but maybe I can convince him to put it on TikTok or Instagram or something. I feel like we've been a little disheartening recently just because of stuff, which it happens, you know. It's part of being new, being a beginner. I had a YouTube channel back in the day, about 2015. Gave up on it. I'm not gonna give up on this one like I did then. It was gaming, but and if you do watch my gaming channel and you're wondering where I'm at, like I said, it's been hard to be motivated, but and it's hard to be motivated when there's not that many new games out right now. NBA will be coming out. I'm gonna do Face of the Franchise for Madden 22, hopefully. 2K22 is coming out Friday, so gonna have a lot of content coming out. And Madden Ultimate Team is really. I'm not gonna get into this. I'll do it on my my channel. Okay, but thank you for joining me. Please make sure you go check out our socials down in the description. As always, click that like button, subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in